So we pulled a hyper rare so far and a Magikarp army, so I'm very excited about that. Wimpod, Togedemaru, Riolu, and...
Oh my God! I did it! I finally did it!
From Patrick Mahomes to Pikachu, the trading card boom is back, with all sorts of collectors hoping they open the next God Pack. However, not everyone is flipping cards for big bucks, so what's the fascination with 2.5 by 3.5 inches of collectible cardboard anyway?
It's kind of like their superstar or their idol on just a piece of cardboard, and it's a way to interact and connect with that specific player.
In reporting the story I did on cards last year, there was someone I talked to who was in his 70s and said that he loved cards so much as a kid because you literally had no other way to see baseball players. You listened to games on the radio and you looked at the box scores in the paper, but in terms of seeing the players that you loved, a card was your only thing.
I think there are some people that collect for the fun of it, some people that collect for scarcity and to, basically show, hey, I have this card and there's only 10 of them, or there's only one of them in the world.
People have been collecting as humans. We're talking for generations.
NFTs may be the rage now, but to truly get to the origin of the current marketplace, you've got to go all the way back to the 17th century, with the introduction of the trade card. Think an old-timey business card, but cooler, I guess? If cars had existed then, you would have definitely found them under your windshield wiper. The earliest trade cards were printed on paper and had no illustrations, but later got a makeover and had the tradesman's name and address and a long-winded set of directions on how to find them. Take that, Waze. It didn't take long for these advertisements to start resembling baseball cards, though. By the way, if you got bed bugs, I know a little girl with a bat. While collecting cards may be a healthier habit than smoking, you wouldn't have the former without the latter, because baseball cards really began in packs of cigarettes as a way to boost sales and stiffen packaging. In fact, the most valuable card to this day was issued by the American Tobacco Company. Say hello to Honus Wagner.
The T206 Honus Wagner, that's a Holy Grail card.
There's not many of them around, and there's a history that's tied to it in terms of ownership. At one point, Charlie Sheen owned it. Wayne Gretzky owned a T206 Honus Wagner, so there's a lore that kind of goes throughout the history of that card.
I've never had one, never held one, but that's the card everybody wants.
Which is why one just sold for $6.6 million. Chew on that. And the next step for sports trading cards came in the form of Big League Chew, or chewing gum, with big leaguers mixed into gum packs in an effort to market to kids. Eventually, that relationship flipped, with candy becoming the bonus for the cards. And in 1952, under the direction of Cy Berger, a company that was American Leaf Tobacco, and then Topps Chewing Gum Inc., launched the line that would become what we now know as the modern sports trading card, with the Topps price for a PSA 9 graded Mickey Mantle from that series worth just $5.5 million.
It's like art, right? It's whatever someone's willing to pay for it.
I think there's a practical angle to them like that, where people are looking at them not as a emotional attachment, but just a financial one.
You get to watch every game because you can just tell your wife, hey, listen, I'm doing my investment research. I got to see whether this, Justin Fields is really going to break out in the next couple of weeks so I can start buying his cards now.
While we're used to seeing stats on the back of cards, it was a statistician named James Beckett III who eventually helped regulate the market, as collectors would bend it like Beckett, or at least follow the Beckett guides when it came to prices. However, the whole industry was just a house of cards, because overproduction led to a lack of value, and thus, say, your Bo Jackson rookie being worth only a few bucks. That didn't stop expansion, though, as all the major sports were now in on the action, while kids like me collected Marvel cards too. Also in the 90s, like magic, the trading card game was born, leading to all sorts of gatherings.
Pokemon market's hotter than the sport card market right now.
People in general, you like doing things where you can find a sense of community, and this is such a huge example of that.
It was hanging out with your friends when I was a kid. Well, that community is now global because of case breaking and online live streams where people are opening up product and sharing it, and showing it off.
Today, trading cards are back in a big way because the pandemic caused a run on toilet paper, hand sanitizers, Amazon orders, and collectible cards. The market was flooded with grading submissions, and supermarkets were flooded with fisticuffs.
Brookfield police say a 35-year-old man was physically assaulted by 4 other men in the parking lot after an argument over sports trading cards. The victim pulled out the gun he was legally carrying, and the 4 attackers ran away. All 4 later arrested.
And while noses may have been broken in the process, we were also introduced to something called breaking.
Breaking has been around for 20 years. You know, people used to do it even with dial-up. It really took off because once COVID hit, people are sitting at home, bored, sports gambling was done, no games were taking place. So breaking kind of has a similar aspect. You don't know what team, what player you're gonna get, but you have skin in the game. So it makes it exciting.
All right, what are we opening?
All right, so right here we have a sealed box of 2020-2021 Select T-Mall Basketball. It's an Asia exclusive. And we're searching for Ant-Man, LaMelo, and other rookies, but those are the 2 main ones that we're looking for.
Oh, we got a red wave in this one, but here we go. LeBron!
Look at that!
Red wave!
There's a ton of different ways to break. There's no, exact science to it. Basically, what breaking is a bunch of people combine their resources and money and buy one item and then disperse the cards out evenly.
All right, let's go to your second pack. If we can keep it like that, we're looking good. All right, Luka Doncic.
There we go.
Out the gate.
Luka and LeBron.
Then we got a Chris Paul.
Chris Paul still in the league.
Obi Toppin.
For the Knicks fans
He
out
looks
there.
good.
He's
looks
playing
good.
better, yeah.
Yeah.
Their bench is doing better than their starters right now.
Starting unit. I have a lot invested in Julius Randle. And
Yeah, especially with the playoffs.
LaMelo Ball! Look at that red wave LaMelo.
Big baller card.
Oh, that's big baller right there for real.
So, what does the future hold for trading cards? Well, maybe not something you can hold at all. As NFTs, non-fungible tokens, I didn't know what that stood for at first either, are now as closely watched as the stock market. Because a marketplace once cornered by Topps is now shared with the likes of NBA Top Shot.
I started to do that just because I like basketball. I literally didn't know what an NFT was.
No one understood non-fungible tokens in January of 2020. So we were really focused on highlighting the blockchain component of it, that it's, lives on a ledger in perpetuity, and you can see ownership.
Even if it's not a physical thing you own, it is a very much still something that is yours.
At its foundation, this technology is significant. I'm not exactly sure that the way we're using them right now is how we'll use NFTs in 5 years from now.
I know there's a really good chance of NFTs taking off and being even overtaking sports cards.
Whether physical or digital, trading cards have more fans than ever, which is probably why Fanatics recently paid big money to buy the licenses to all the major sports leagues. We've certainly come a long way from tobacco and bubblegum. And whether you're a kid or an adult, the card market is now open to everyone. Just be prepared to put down some dough if you want the best top shots or want to break open the top boxes. I'm Robin Lundberg, and now you know.